I am currently on Siesta Key, which is known as the #1 beach in the United States. And why would this island, why would this beach get so much attention for being the #1 beach in the United States? Now, not everybody's going to agree with that, but one thing you cannot argue is it absolutely has the best sand probably on the planet. And what makes the sand on Siesta Key so special? Well, it's actually crushed quartz from the Appalachian Mountains. And what makes that so unique is the sand is very cool. You can lay on it all day long in the hottest day of the year, and the sand is very cool, and yet the water is very warm. And when you think about going to the beach, what perfect place than to go to where the beach, the sand is cool and the water is warm? Well, that's Siesta Key, and welcome to Siesta Key. And today I want to show you something very special on Siesta Key, especially if you're looking to make an investment or you're looking to move to Siesta Key, what's possible, and also what's there to regret about, because there's been a lot of regrets, especially here on Siesta Key when it comes to Siesta Key Real Estate. So with that, let me introduce myself. My name is Troy Funk, and it's Funk, F-U-N-K, Fun-K. I am a licensed real estate broker in the state of Florida, and my story was that I actually was born and raised in California. I lived in Santa Barbara, and my family and I came to Sarasota when I was in high school. And from there, we've been here 40 years. I graduated from Riverview High School and went right into real estate. And if you do the math, that means I've been in the real estate business going on 40 years now in Sarasota, and I know Siesta Key very well. And why do I know Siesta Key very well? My very first apartment was here on Siesta Key. I mean, where else are you gonna live? If you live in Sarasota and you're a teenager and you're starting your journey, why not live on Siesta Key? I had an apartment in the village, and I was paying about $400 a month on Avenida Messina, right behind my office where I worked as a new real estate agent. And I'll tell you, $400 a month was a lot of money back then for an apartment. But my apartment actually had a little bit of a view of the ocean, and it was a nice place, but it was a stretch. And to supplement my commission income, I was actually a busboy at the Summer House restaurant here on Siesta Key as well. But I sold real estate during the day. I want to talk about probably my best experience and really talk about regrets when it comes to Siesta Key, and how does that all equate to the real estate market and where we are today, and what to consider if you're thinking of investing in real estate on Siesta Key. Well, I was in the office, and this couple came in the office, and Joe and Lee, they'll always be special in my heart, but he was a firefighter, and he was gonna retire in a few years, and they were down for vacation, and they walked in our office, and Lee had mentioned that she is just looking at real estate. They're not ready to buy. Joe, however, said, no, we're ready. And it was interesting where they were coming from. Near Boston, there was a foot of snow, and here they come to Siesta Key and say, yeah, we're looking at real estate, but we're just looking. We're not looking to buy. Now, the real estate market, when I got in the business, was very challenging. And I didn't understand the whole dynamics at that point, but at that point, the tax laws had changed. It was very advantageous to own real estate that lost money, even as a second home. And when the tax laws changed, that wasn't so advantageous to own real estate, especially if it was losing money. Well, Siesta Key was a vacation destination. A lot of people own real estate as second homes. And when the tax laws changed back then, when I just got in the real estate business, it changed a lot. A lot of people realized this was not going to be a good investment, or so they thought, right? So they were trying to sell their real estate here on Siesta Key. There was a glut of inventory for sale, a lot of properties for sale. My very first listing, in fact, was on Siesta Key for $69,000, a 2-bedroom condo, and the whole office said, Troy, it's overpriced, it won't sell. And we brought the price down to $65,000, and it didn't sell. And the owner said, if I can't sell it for that, I'm gonna keep it. Obviously, that was a good decision for him, because he's made a lot on that property, not selling that property. So this couple comes into the office, Joe and Lee, and they're from near Boston, and they said, we're just looking at real estate right now. And I said, I've got a property that's gonna knock your socks off. And Lee said, well, you know what? You can show us one property, but we have to be back in the office. We have to leave by about 5 o'clock. We're meeting some friends for drinks. And I said, well, let me show you one property. and I showed them a condominium at our house on the beach. Now, this was a 5th floor unit that overlooked the beach. The view was fantastic. Beautiful condo. I remember it was listed for about $160, and it had been on the market some time. They both loved it. And I said, come back to the office. I just need 5 minutes of your time. And when they sat down, I pulled out a sales contract and I started filling it out. Now, how do you want to take title? Joe and Lee, husband, wife, and they started answering my questions. But Lee said, wait, Troy, we're just looking here, okay? Understand, we're just looking. We're not going to buy anything. I said, I understand, but let me just show you what it looks like to fill out an agreement, so you have something to consider when we leave here today. And she said, yes, but I can't be late for my for my friends. We're going out for drinks. I said, no problem. Let's just fill this out. So I filled out the contract, just talked about, well, if we can make an offer, it's listed for $160. Would you offer $150? Yes. I would need $10,000 in deposit. I'll show you how that looks like. And you would write the check. If the offer is not accepted, you get the money back. And when would the closing be and everything else. And we filled the contract out. Now that 5 minutes turned into 30 minutes. Now she was mad. She's like, wait a minute, I'm running late for the agreement. I said, okay, now that we filled out this contract, I said, I'd like you to sign it. And Joe's like, okay, fine, I'll sign it. And she's like, wait, we're just looking, Troy, we're just looking. We're not looking to buy. And I said, Lee, unless the seller accepts this contract as is, you're under no obligation. This is just to see what's possible. And so she agreed, and she signed the offer. And she wrote me a check for the office for the deposit. And with that, I had a contract, or I had an offer. And I went to the seller and I said, I have an offer on your property and it's for $150. And he said, no, I'm not going to accept that, not for my property. And I said, I think you should. And here's why. I took that contract, I ripped a little piece off the corner of the contract. I said, see this little piece of paper? This is what's holding you back from selling this property of yours. This contract, you're going to throw it in the garbage for this little piece of paper. If you sign this, we have your property under contract. And we're in a very tough market right now. The seller agreed. He signed it. And now I have a signed agreement. Called my buyers back and said, congratulations, you're buying a property. The seller accepted. And Lee said, I'm just looking now, I'm not looking to buy. So, and she said, can we go out for drinks, Troy? I'd like to talk to you about this. And I said, Lee, I'm 19 years old. The drinking age is 21. I'm not old enough to go out with you for drinks. And I thought she'd be mad. And she just burst out laughing. She says, what? You're not even old enough to go out to drinks with us, but you could sell us a condominium? I said, yes. And she's like, okay, all right. And I said, Lee, trust me, this is going to be a good decision buying this property. You're across the street from the beach. This is the time to buy. And they did. They closed on that property, and we have been friends for a long time. And every year they'd come down, they would invite me over for sunset. And when I became old enough, I could actually drink with them. And Lee, when she looked at me, every year she would look at me and she would laugh and say, I'll never forget you weren't old enough for us to go out for drinks. And but here we are, and we love this place. And they lived at our house at the beach. That was their second home for a long time, and they enjoyed it every year coming down. Now, Lee was a very social person. She had a lot of friends. And with that, I think she knew every real estate agent here in Sarasota. And yet, when it was time to sell the property, she said there's no one else we would sell it with than you, Troy, of course. And I sold their property, and they made $400,000 on that property in the time that they owned it. And the funny thing is, from the time that they've sold it, it's gone up at least another $400,000. And buying that property was a good decision, no doubt. I mean, here we are on Siesta Key. It's about location. This is a destination area. Now, we've seen market adjustments, but anybody that has purchased on Siesta Key and has looked at this as an investment, a long-term investment, where you're buying a very quality piece of real estate and you're going to hold on to that long-term, has done really well. And how well? Well, I can say I've known a lot of millionaires that have made $1 million plus on one property on Siesta Key. Now, since that point, on Siesta Key, I've sold a lot of property from the time I was 19 to where I am now. I've sold a couple beachfront mini mansions where they have gone up a couple $1,000,000 each. I sold a log cabin here on Gibbons Court. I sold it twice, in fact. That was an original structure on Siesta Key where the owner had flipped it and made $100,000, and that was a lot of money back then. But I've seen real estate but go up, and especially when you hold on to it long term. Now, even if the market has adjustments, real estate's a long-term investment, and when you buy the best dirt that you could possibly can't buy, or what I say, sand, right? This incredible quartz crushed sand. Where else in the world can you find a location like Siesta Key? So is it possible to still buy property here on Siesta Key? Yes. Now, here's my regret. When I think about regrets, when I was 21, I bought my first property off the island. And then when I was 25, I was doing really well, and I'm ready for my nice home and making a lot of money. I've saved up a down payment, and I had a choice. I could buy a home on Siesta Key in Siesta Isles, not on the water, but in Siesta Isles, or I could have a brand new house built off the island. I was young, 25. I picked the brand new house, and it was that a mistake, because if you look at the value of what a home on Siesta Key is today compared to the home that we did buy, that we had built, the price difference today in all this time period is about $600,000 to $700,000. Obviously the house in Siesta Key is worth $600,000 to $700,000 more than the home that we ended up buying, just because I bought the wrong property. That's a life regret. That's a life regret, buying the wrong dirt, right? I should have stuck with Siesta Key, and I would be up another $600,000 or $700,000. So, is it still possible to buy real estate here on Siesta Key? Absolutely, especially under $1 million on the sand. That's very hard, but I got a great opportunity for you. Now, I have a property that we just put on the market that is on this sand, and it's actually in one of the premier buildings. I would call it the iconic building on Siesta Key, the Terrace. Now, the Terrace is very special. The Terrace adjoins the Village. Now, the Village is fun because the Village has an abundance of different restaurants and shops, and at night it's very lively. There's entertainment, and it's a lot of energy, and that's your front door of the Terrace. The back door is this beach right here. What's special about the Terrace, it's one of the few condominiums, when you look at all the properties on Siesta Key, that has so much land around it. They have a lot of area for land. They have a lot of conservation space as well before you touch the water. So this building is surrounded by a lot of space. In the backyard, a lot of peace, a lot of serenity. The front yard is the Village of Siesta Key. And so under $1 million, what does that look like? Well, it has a fantastic view, and it looks down Siesta Key. It's on the 8th floor of the Terrace, and the Terrace is a very special building. Now, what's fun about the Terrace is units in the Terrace have sold over $3 million, and yet you can buy this property for under $1 million. And why? Well, it is an efficiency. It's in a studio, but it's in the same building, has the same amenities, and this is why this makes this opportunity so neat. Let's just say you have a $2 million, multi-million-dollar home off the island, new home, all the custom features, and you're in Sarasota, like Mick Jagger, right? He owns this $2 million home, Lakewood Ranch. But come on, Mick, don't you want to live on the beach, or at least have a beach house? Well, for an extra $1 million, you could have this beach house in the Terrace as an efficiency unit. Great view, great opportunity. Do these come along? Very rarely. As I said, I've been in the real estate business going on 40 years. I've sold a lot of real estate. The opportunity to buy a condominium on this sand for under $1 million is a rare opportunity. If you go back in time or in the future and you look back at this video, think, oh my gosh, look what we could have bought for $1 million on the beach, and we didn't do it. So I think of all those just looking people. Those are the people that have the biggest regrets, especially when it comes to Siesta Key. The people that did not buy, those are the people that have the biggest regrets. Just like myself, I've lost $700,000 buying the wrong property, right? I bought the wrong piece of dirt because I did not invest in Siesta Key, which is a destination location where people want to live. So in closing, again, my name is Troy Funk. I'm a licensed real estate broker. My website will show you everything for sale in Sarasota that's on the market through our MLS system, and it will also allow me to stay in contact with you. So if you're looking for real estate in Sarasota, on Siesta Key, or anywhere in the state of Florida, certainly look at my website, register, let's stay contacted and stay in touch, should I say. And if I can be of any help to you, certainly call me, and I look forward to helping you on your journey, especially if you want to take this property off the market.